I guess I'll start at the beginning. I was born and raised in a small town in Wyoming. I had a pretty good childhood. I had parents who loved and cared for me. But when I was 7, a lot of things started to change. My mom and dad had some issues, and it eventually led to their divorce. I think it affected me a lot, but not as much then as it did later in life. A couple years later, my dad got remarried, and things started to go downhill. I started doing things that were really out of character for who I was. I was 10 or 11 and I smoked my first cigarette. And then in December of 2007, my life changed forever. My 7-year-old brother, Matthew, unexpectedly passed away, and it shook me and my family to our very core and changed me forever. My mom got remarried and we moved to Indiana the following year, and everything seemed to be going okay until the summer before my freshman year started. I started smoking regularly. I began smoking weed and drinking, and that continued to get worse and worse throughout high school. I started to get my friends like Caleb involved in my lifestyle. By my junior and senior year, I began drinking constantly. I was smoking weed every day. I was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day, and I developed a severe addiction to prescription drugs. And to support my habit and stay constantly high, I began to lie and steal, and I was just overall not a very good person. I honestly can't count the number of times that I should probably be dead or in jail for the things that I was doing. Overdoses, riding with drunk drivers, you name it. I wanted to be a doctor at the time, so I started going to college for pre-med, and I mellowed out a little bit, but I was still basically the same person making those same decisions. After my first year of college though, things started to change. I began to sober up, I stopped drinking and doing drugs, and decided to get my life right. But the following year, instead of going back to college, I decided to do something else. I joined an organization here in Indiana called Break the Gray, and I began traveling with them and performing in schools all across the United States. I was on a mission to help end things like bullying and drug abuse and self-harm and suicide. But in August of 2016, some of my past choices had consequences that changed every bit of who I am as a person. At the same time that I was fighting things like drug abuse and suicide, my friend Caleb, who I had years earlier got started doing drugs, killed himself. Caleb was a good person. He was smart, but he didn't see another way out. I spent about 2.5 years with Break the Gray. I traveled and performed all over the US in front of like 90,000 people. And at that same time, I met Nathan Harmon and Your Life Speaks. After leaving Break the Gray, I began working for Nathan, and I've been here ever since. I get to do what I love, and I get to help make a difference in people's lives. That's my story. I guess I just want to say that even though all these things were going on in my life, the bullying, the self-harm, the depression, the drug abuse, the alcoholism, I managed to make a way and turn my life around. And no matter what any of you are going through, I know that you can do the same. You can make it through this. You are enough.